Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another Final Fantasy Randomizer community presentation on SpeedGaming. Tonight, a spring tournament match in the Quake Pod between Sawneyrath11 and Petetron. At 1-1, Sawneyrath is looking to punch a ticket to brackets with his second win. On the other hand, we have Petetron, yet to play his first, looking to start things off on the right foot with a win this match. I'm RockSolid84, joined here in the commentary booth by Nightmare Phoenix. Phoenix, how you doing tonight?
Oh, I am excellent. I'm pumped and excited for this match. It's they've been talking about doing a mirror match, and we thought that meant opposites. No, they're doing a ditto match. Got some fighters, 2 red mages, and a black mage. And we do have the blessings for y'all. We got fighters with 40 strength, and red mages with 40 health, and black mages with 30 health. So this is going to be a very healthy party.
Yeah, and that's one thing you really look for when you're relying a lot on those red and black mages. You want to make sure they have the health to survive a nuke blast in the end game. And if you're getting a fixed plus 80, fixed plus 40, that's likely going to put you up into those mid 300s, low 400 range.
That with the fighter having some extra strength with plus 40 strength, they're going to be able to make use of some slightly more awkward weapons that you wouldn't normally see. So we'll probably see a coral sword get picked up or used, or maybe the sun sword. Who knows? It depends. All depends on what they're going to find out there. And it looks like they're off.
Yeah, exactly. And with weapon blessing being anywhere from -5 to +5, you can see some odd weapons being used, as we see Lit 3 in Black Magic and Invis 2 and Cure 3 at White Magic.
Not horrible starting magic. The White Mage, which nobody took, has extra level 1 White Magic. That extra Invis 2 might be handy on some of the earlier fiends if you're feeling a little squishy. But then again, with this healthy party, we probably won't even need that.
Yeah, I don't see Invis 2 getting a whole lot of use before Topher, and usually by then you've got your top 9 charges anyways. Can still be a little bit of a safety, and there was that heal 2 there, so it could come in useful. But looking pretty good for the decisions the runners have gone with to go with this really black magic heavy party, and getting chain +2 armor, which is very good with red mages.
The Iron +2 is a decent pickup for the fighter, and then a Buckler +2. I don't think anyone can use it besides the fighter. But right now, I mean, decent armor. The weapons were not great. And we got Sonny going right out and doing some imp tossing on his way to top.
Yeah, and those early fights can be good. They can get you a couple of early levels with the EXP bonus. The other thing of note there, though, in Corneria, we do have pretty expensive houses at 21k, so house management early on going to be a thing unless they find a whole bucket of money here in Topher.
Ooh, Petetron already a little bit hurt from the imps. Or at least the imps have stun touch from the looks of it. We're going to take a look and see what's in our boxes, though.
Yeah, you never like to see really nasty stuff on those early imps. We did get almost 10k in that first bottom left chest. All of them put together, there's not much money in here, but it is over that 10k market, so that's going to be a little bit of comfort for these runners who have both decided to check those chests before moving on.
That'll also be a big help when they get to Provoca, and after they take down the pirates. If there's anything that they need in the shop, maybe an herb, or a tail or something that they might want, if it's low enough price, they can pick it up immediately.
Yeah, wow. Good points. We see the white shirt and the canal from Sarah, so some good items early on, but look at those bones. We have bones rocking trance and damage poison. That's a problem because they're going to come back in Marsh. So I think these runners, if they're wise, are going to be doing everything they can to avoid that particular dungeon.
Marsh definitely not going to be pretty this time around. It very rarely is. Especially when what we have for white magic isn't good for keeping people getting them back up on their feet.
Yeah, at least not yet. One thing that is good news is that we did get the canal, which is half of the get me out of the inner sea puzzle that both of these runners will be looking to solve. If you can solve that, and you haven't checked everything in the inner sea, orphaning Marsh can definitely be a good call because there's a higher chance that Marsh is going to have something that's useless to you.
Absolutely. And with any luck, Ice Cave might have something amazing like a floater, or maybe the sages are sitting on that wonderful rock.
Yeah, exactly. We've still got at least the sages as a completely free check that we can do. And even if it doesn't turn directly into the ship or the floater, it could lead to something that does. So both runners likely to continue circling around on the right-hand side. Whether or not they're going to attempt ice early on, it's going to be a judgment call, as our runner on the left does pick up the rod from Bicky, so no advancement there.
And hey, what did I say? Nice cheap item in the Provoca shop, a crown at just under 5,000. They could pick that up on their way south. Likely they're going to find a ship somewhere near Crescent Lake, so Crescent or Ice, and then that's an easy turn in once they get to Northwest.
Yeah, seeing it that close to the amount of money that I have, I would like to get that crown before I go anywhere else. There is Fade here at level 2, so we could see maybe a little pop crown, maybe a little bit of money early on.
Fast at level 2 for the black mages, that's pretty decent. Now you don't have to go searching for fast. The only other spell of note there, Light 2, it's probably not going to see a whole lot of use. I think Fade is going to be the more used spell at level 2.
Yeah, with both runners rocking 2 red mages, I think we're going to see that Fade doing a lot of work. Petetron is heading back west. Now, this is an interesting call. Maybe just looking to grind ogres.
Perhaps. However, I think he might go visit Matoya and see if she's holding on to anything that might be useful, or if she has anything good for money, so he can go pick up that crown before making his way back south.
Oh yeah, Phoenix, you've got to have it. There's 3 boxes in there, and they could turn straight into money, but Tetron is not going for that. Is continuing left, and this is an interesting play, given that we don't have any dwarf items. Is he going all the way to dwarf to check those 2 chests there? Or maybe the crown. He thinks he has the crown?
He may have thought he bought the crown. I didn't see it get purchased, but who knows? We might get a chance to take a peek in his inventory and see if it's in there.
Yeah,
it's one of those blink and you miss it.
I feel pretty confident. I was looking directly at Tetron's screen, and I don't think he bought it. Sawneyrath is about to go into Provoca right now, and is a little bit later in getting there, but that may mean just that extra $1,000 to buy the crown. But he's checking the magic first.
Well, he does see level 2 Fade, and he's going to get that on both of his casters and then go straight to black magic. Definitely picking up fast. Tetron visiting the dwarves. Not a lot of good stuff in their early boxes.
Not
staff, but
yeah, as you're saying, the heal staff. The thing about that is that it could sell for a lot.
This is very true.
There is a real good chance you could run all the way back to Provoca, sell that. Almost 100% chance that you're alone. It's going to be worth more. But
apparently, Tetron did
crown.
Purchase the crown.
Okay, we missed it.
You snuck that one by us.
That's how fast these runners are. They just make it happen.
And Astos isn't going to be long for this world on Tetron's screen as Tetron finishes off Astos and he picks up the slab. That's not something you want to see this early. Granted, you get it translated the first time you go into Melman, but it's going to be a while before you get that turned in. And you may even decide not to turn it in if it looks like it's just going to lead to the only other dud item we have being maybe a ruby or a power bonk. And power bonk being dud is very much debatable.
Yeah, no.
Tetron braving Marsh though.
Yeah, that the slab is one of the last things you want to see at this stage in the game. Going into Marsh, well, good news, bad news. We've got the means to trivialize any enemies we come across in here with that fade. Bad news, well, we could end up being in a situation where this ends up being a useless item because the floater is elsewhere, but you don't really know, and you've got to get some progress. This is where Petetron is on the map, so I like to play.
Petetron taking those cautionary steps around the room, but finding a large knife +4. That's I think that's more weapon than his fighter currently has. So at least he has something to use besides his fists. And these scorpions are not being nice. And it looks like Sawny is doing a pop grind for money.
Yeah,
Giants
likely
with heat.
Yeah, likely Sawneyrath is looking to pick up some cash just to buy that crown. These giants alone will do it, and he's got lit 3. But like you say, that heat spell, making them go down, not without a fight.
Especially when there's 4 of them constantly casting. That definitely will wear down your party quite quick.
So Sawney has the money, is heading back to buy the crown. Petetron on the left-hand side has cleared the top and is going towards the bottom. I would have preferred to see a reset here. He didn't really pick up too much that was worth keeping. I mean, you mentioned the large knife +4, but we'll find a better weapon than that along the road. Anyways,
absolutely.
The good news about this is he will keep the money that he found rather, and also any experience along the way. That may be what Petetron is prioritizing right now.
Yeah, he doesn't have. He's hoping that he can pull something useful out of here, maybe the ship. Sawney buying his crown, so we'll be seeing him. Probably he's gonna make the same play that Petetron did.
Yeah, well,
very interesting.
Here's the thing. These are the trance/poison bones, and they're all over Marsh. So this could make the dive troublesome for Petetron, and Sawneyrath may make the decision to bypass Marsh simply based on the fact that those bones are there. So how key is this key item going to be?
Well, if Sawney passing up Matoya again, even though, she has a couple boxes in there early, but we don't need the money. However, if it's an early ribbon, that could be huge. If it's an early weapon, that could be extra huge.
Yeah, I mean, if it's me, I would check the 3 chests. You can drop a tent and jump up there, and if it's nothing, reset back down without too much to give away for it. And early on, when you haven't seen level 3 magic yet, a few $1,000 can go a long way.
Absolutely, especially because your next stop is Elfland, and you need a heavy wallet in order to shop around there effectively.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think I heard someone say within the last week or so that, quality of your run can be determined by how many times you have to go back to Elfland. But there's a big pile of money and the tail in Marsh. So, and the tail is nice for this party comp, but still not progression we're looking for.
Right. At the very least, is a little bit more extra XP gain.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's some consolation, I guess.
Oh.
But look at this. This is the troll tile. We've got Phantom and Marsh.
That's not good at all. But fortunately, we do have those runnable flags on. So Petetron just nopes out of that, grabs his, I think, 94 gil and leaves. Actually, no, it's a wood +3, which will probably sell for 94 gil if he even bothers.
Yeah, Petetron likely just looking to see what the trap tile was and getting the bad news about the Phantom. Sawneyrath is taking a left here and is going to follow him into Marsh, though. These runners are making very similar decision-making early on.
I don't want to say that I'm psychic, but it looks like we're seeing we're seeing things that I'm calling, and it's making me nervous.
Well, for me, I feel like we're just locked in a 2,000-year time loop. I mean, we're seeing Sawneyrath cover the exact same ground that Petetron discovered. He's going to go up to the top of Marsh, find basically nothing, head down to the bottom, find the item probably in the same order of chest checking that Petetron did. Maybe check the grind as well. So it's going to be interesting to see where these runners finally diverge. But look at this.
Oh.
Not only are the bones nasty, but the crawls they roll them with blades.
That's awful. Petetron deciding that he's not going to go back in there for the tail, I don't believe. I'm pretty sure he reset out. And he's going to go probably do a little bit of shopping.
Yeah, and I don't hate resetting out of the tail. What does hurt is having to give back that 32,000.
Absolutely.
That would be really nice to have. The silver lining is that they've already got the vendor item, and they've already got pretty good magic too. So it's not like money is going to be super essential. They're not going to need it to get out of the inner sea. Picking up level 2 and temper is nice here too at level 3.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Sawney is and the crawls have stone poison.
Yeah, it just keeps getting worse and worse, doesn't it?
It does. Sawney now needing to make that trek all the way back down, has to fight Astos again because I don't think he picked up any camping gear whatsoever. And we got Exit on Petetron's side for level 3 magic and wall. Petetron upset that he doesn't have that 32,000 though.
Yeah, looking longingly at that exit and realizing he's 34 gold short feels bad. Maybe he could sell a wood staff, but instead he's going to stay at the inn. Maybe grind, maybe not. There could be something in his inventory to sell.
I would definitely be trying to sell that heal staff I picked up early. I'm likely not going to use it, or if I do use it, I won't be using it for very long. It is not really worth carrying around at this point.
No, 100% agree with that. Heal stick, it's fun in the vanilla game, but in Rando, it's not worth your time. It casts a spell that takes a lot of time to cast and doesn't really heal very much, so you're better off just selling it for the gold.
Right. If only that the heal staff had a buff accentuated to it, such as a heal 2 spell, a heal 3 staff. That would be awesome.
Yeah. Well, don't give the devs any ideas. Petetron did see Cure 4 and Life at level 4 white magic. I don't know my slots well enough to know if those are going to be red mage castable. But pretty good white magic so far. We've got Fade, we've got Invis 2, and potentially Cure 4 and Life as well.
Petetron making his way to Crescent. Probably deciding that Marsh is not worth it with that just for a tail and 32,000.
Yeah, well, I mean, seeing those bones and crawls, I don't blame them at all. Sawneyrath does have enough money to buy Exit, and seems to have done magic buying a little bit differently. Didn't just load up on black magic before checking white magic, and is rewarded with an important movement spell. That's a good move. It's
great. Sawney has been around the community for a long time. He is most definitely a vet, and his choices might help him regain some of that momentum he lost early by wiping out to Garland. Or the Bones, rather.
Well, yeah, we'll take your pick, right? Garland or his minions. Interesting choice, though, going with cabins instead of tents when they're both available for sale. I wonder what that's about. But anyways, he's got 20 of whatever it was, and that's all you really need to get moving around. Petetron is going to give us our first look at the Circle of Sages item.
The one thing about the cabins, they do heal a little bit more. That's it, really. And the sages were holding on to his ship, so that gives Petetron access out of the inner sea. What would you do if you were Petetron right now?
If I was Petetron, I would leave the inner sea and go check what the earth trap tiles are. You could go to the ice cave directly from here, and you're not going to be wasting your time in doing so because we already know that the tail's been covered and we've got ship and canal, so there are no completely useless items in there. However, I don't love these levels for an ice cave dip, and you could find a really good grind at earth. Failing that, you then have your choice about whether or not you want to do ice or ordeals, and I like to sort of put that decision off, but we're going to see what Petetron does here.
I'm thinking Petetron is probably going to go grab his boat and make his way out of the inner sea, like you said. I would, since I'm in this area, I'd probably make a dip into Volcano, check the armory, try to get something gear-wise going early, and then maybe try a dip into the ice cave. Having better gear for my fighter will make that ice cave journey a lot safer. And if I can find a decent grind in the ice cave, well, then that takes every check on the box. So I'm going back to the top of Marsh for some reason.
I was just thinking the same thing. Sawneyrath is back in Marsh, and this is weird. Not only is Marsh dangerous, but I guess Sawney doesn't know, but the incentive item is not going to be particularly helpful. So this decision is going to end up hurting Sawney.
Yeah, I don't think that's helpful. He does, however, have exit, so he can get out. I think what he's doing is he's trying to figure out where he saw that 32,000 chest. Because he's going back down to the bottom of Marsh. He hasn't figured out where the tail is yet, I don't believe.
Yeah, I'm sure you're right. Petetron doing something interesting, bypassing the earth tiles, deciding that he wants to go, I guess, directly to ordeals.
Mm-hmm.
That is not something I'm sure I agree with, because I think if I was going to go into an incentive dungeon next, I would do what you said, check Volcano and go to ice, rather than sail directly to ordeals like this.
I don't hate the ordeals play, but it's a long journey, and if it doesn't have anything for you, now you have to decide, are you going to try and check Waterfall? Because if that also turns into not much progression there, now you have to go all the way back into the inner sea area, or at least around it, but that's a whole load of walking as well.
Yeah, well, this is a play that can work out for you depending on your flag set and depending on what you're looking for. Now, having already seen the vendor item, that for me tips the scales against doing this, because in a situation where I haven't seen the vendor item yet, I might be thinking, okay, well, there's a chance I get the vendor item and the waterfall item after ordeals. That's two items in one spot, and one of them could be Oxyale. I could continue on to C, and you could get even another one. But even to do that, I'd need money, which again leads me back to doing the earth tiles first. So that would be my thought process. Sawneyrath picking up the 31k, and looks like maybe he's doing the checks in reverse order.
Yes, however, that's not the only 31k box. There's another one next to the tail. Ran out of oxygen there.
Okay, so Sawneyrath going to be coming out of here, a rich man, if he can make it past those bones. Petetron, on the other hand, continuing to make pretty quick work of ordeal so far.
There's our tail. And if Sawney checks this next chest, he's not even going to bother. He's exiting out.
Ooh. Oh, well, it's only 31k. He already got it.
One good thing about this ordeals grind is so far he is getting levels, but that could change if he takes the wrong move. And it looks like our way out of ordeals might be that dreaded fourth pillar. Ooh, Medusa's with Squint, leaving him with just one red mage.
Yeah, they've got Squint, and they're not afraid to use it.
I don't think life was red mage learnable either, so Petetron in a very unsafe predicament here.
Yeah, this is going to be tough. We've got a seafood party back, and we've got a red mage run. They've got
with glare. Yeah, that would have been an instant reset for me. If I walked in single solo red mage, seeing that, nope, sorry, hit reset. Let's try this again. Sawney picking up some insta magic. We got Zap and Bane, I think.
Yeah, Bane was available at level 3, if memory serves. And I'm going to check the tracker notes. I want to give a shout out to our tracker, Guardian Marcus, doing an excellent job. And we have in Alpha, we know we've got Exit Wall, Lock 2, and Temper, but it's not confirmed whether or not Bane is there. So it could be.
Zap and Bane was level 4.
Okay.
And we are being told that life was indeed Red Mage learnable. But I don't think Tetron picked it up.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think he took a look at it and didn't have the money, maybe. So Tetron, taking out a couple of zombie dragons over here in Ordeals, knows the route through this time around, so should have a little bit better luck, but does still have to get past that Seafood Party Pack at the Trap Tile.
Yeah. Well, as long as he can keep his casters alive, he should have a much easier chance with that. Two lightning 3 should do the trick, and if 2 doesn't do it, 3 absolutely will.
Yeah,
Sonny on a buying spree.
Right, what's he getting over here in Crescent?
Oh, Nuke, Brack, Dark, and Quad X and Crescent.
Okay,
White
so
Mage was kind of blah.
yeah, more of a black magic type of situation. Unfortunately, a little bit behind the 8 ball in getting the ship, but maybe having Nuke could make a difference.
That nuke spell will be huge, and then he also, now that he has a ship, he's probably gonna do. I would still do the same thing. I would go check out the volcano and then dip a toe into ice. But again, we see him bypassing that trip up. When they said mirror match, I was thinking that, we would see something similar. Not this similar. This is almost eerie.
There's mirror match, and then there's screen for screen. It's we're almost looking at screen for screen here.
Well, as you mentioned it before. It is a time loop.
It is a time loop. Tetron here has taken a second wipe at Ordeals, the same place with the Seafood Party Pack, just getting bad luck with the runs. He's going to try it again and has to feel bad throwing yourself against Ordeals like this. I wonder if Sawneyrath is going to make the same decision yet again, and we see he's going to at least check a little bit of Melmond and Dearth over here.
He does have that slab, and since he's over in this area, he may as well get it translated.
Yeah, I completely forgot about that Nightmare Phoenix. That's, even aside from all the other reasons we talked about, that is a huge reason why you would want to at least come dip into Melmond, get some information about what's here, like those pro rings available for
Wow,
5K.
And that's nice. And if he doesn't have decent armor, he's got silver bracelets there that will provide a little bit of a cushion.
Don't hate a vanilla silver bracelet for 3K.
Oh, and it looks like Tetron is. There it is. Another wipe. He's decided that he's already been over here. He's wiped twice. We got to go for a third one. If I were him, I would definitely check that link chest on that fourth pillar run before going down. Maybe there's a trap tile there that I can try to grind a little bit. Unless it's the same trap tile, I'm not sure.
It is not the same trap tile, and I agree with you. That is definitely a good call because, yeah, it could be a better fight that you could use to grind, and that could even be the item you could be done.
Exactly. Get the item, get out. Never have to step foot in Ordeals again. Maybe guillotine the old man on your way out. Why not?
You know, he just kind of chills there, waiting for you to show him your crown and let you pass. Sawneyrath is continuing. Look at this. Same route, unless he goes left, but it looks like he's heading east to Ordeals.
Straight to Ordeals, yeah. If this Ordeals item is a floater, then this seed is going to open wide up for both of our runners. However, I think Sawneyrath might have a better chance of getting through this C4 party pack.
Yeah, and Tetron deciding that he's had enough.
Sonny does have exit, so if he gets a couple levels here and then wipes on his second time, he might get a couple levels, exit out once he knows the path, and then try to go again. And since Tetron's up here, he's gonna check Waterfall.
Yeah, you might as well. You've invested the time in coming down here. Go ahead and check Waterfall. Makes sense. What that is could basically tell you where to go next, because at this point, you're probably fighting against a little bit of tilt. You've just wiped 3 times in the exact same place, and you feel like you're going nowhere. So this could get you started, but the thing is, waterfall's no walk in the park either at these levels.
Oh no. We've been seeing some really nasty scripts on the nightmares in there lately, so this could just be another time sink for Tetron. But hopefully he can manage to pull it out, because if he can pull it out, he'll at least have something up on Sawny, who is following closely behind him. Sawny does have the tail, however, so any experience he's getting is at least a little bit more.
Yeah, I find the 5% experience boost is not super huge in these flags, but it does add up when you've got a number of items and you find a grind that, yeah, maybe it would have been 3,000 and now it's 5,000.
It does build up over time, especially if you're one to take walking grinds. That every fight you take just ends up adding up a little bit over time, and before you know it, you feel confident enough to dip your toe into those harder dungeons. Yeah, not many shops selling houses today.
No, they're hard to come by. Argwells have sleep touch. That's something I didn't notice earlier, and that's just another thing that makes this ordeals really tough. Tetron is about to hit up this inn. I wonder, well, he doesn't have Oxyale, so we can't go to C. It's going to try Waterfall again.
Yeah, he did some shopping in Onrak, hit the inn to save, and he's going to give Waterfall another go now that he managed to make it up here. Sawny encountering the Seafood Party Pack, and so far, getting proper turn order, he might be able to get through this.
Yeah, and, maybe it's just luck of the draw, but that first lit 3 cleared off most of the things on the screen. Second one took care of business, just like you were saying. 2 lit 3s got the job done. He's picking up a fair bit of cash here, and we're going to get to see this incentive item pretty soon.
Tetron, knowing that his opponent Sawneyrath he's probably trying to put as much space between him and Sawny as he can, knowing that one misstep could probably cost him the race, and he is. I guess that's why he's being more bold and skipping out on the tail for Marsh, going all the way up to Ordeals first, which has our loot.
Yeah, so Sawneyrath going back for a second helping of that Seafood Party Pack. I don't know if that was intentional or not, but again, getting the luck with the turn order and the lobsters not having much HP, was able to clear it all through. So Sawneyrath is going to be out of here with an all-important item. Not one that gives you progression, but one that you do need to have before you get going on to the end of the game.
Yes. Ooh, wizards with transfer or Xfer. But that's apparently all they have. Sawny gonna go ahead, pop the exit, and lock in that loot. And Tetron checking out the robot stash. Robot with a chime. So that's French vanilla right there.
Yeah, Tetron's probably not too happy to see that. It is a required item. It does give you access to Sky, but you can't get through Sky, and Tetron's probably still not at the point where he wants to be thinking about going to Sky, and is now, it looks like, walking this out, but I don't know why with Exit. Perhaps just taking the trap fight a little bit.
He still hasn't bought Exit, I don't believe.
Okay, that lack of a movement spell could be troublesome. Sawneyrath coming in to do his shopping has a fair bit more money. Wow, Tetron's going to have to run out of Waterfall, and we saw those nightmares were hitting pretty hard. This is not going to be free here.
This is rough. Not having a movement spell has it just tacks on so much time, and especially when it was such a low level, not having that is definitely hurting. Sawny making that dive back into Marsh to find the tail. and the money that he found, that's definitely enabled him to get the necessary tools he needs to start getting momentum.
Yeah, and that's really the word at this point, momentum. It's as much a sort of a psychic advantage, if you want to call it that, as it is just about going quick. Just that feeling that you're making progress can really put the wind under your sails and get you going. Sawneyrath has it, Petetron doesn't. And even though they're in the same place, it feels like they're in totally different worlds.
Absolutely. Looks like Petetron does have at least a life spell. Still earlier on, he probably didn't have charges for life, or maybe that mage just doesn't have life. But he does find a Gas Dragon, which is very hardy. If he can take it down safely, he'll get some XP out of it. He'll probably get a level. And be able to walk out if you're a little bit better.
Yeah, a little bit of a high five from these runners in the Waterfall Cave. Petetron has still a couple of tough battles to go before we get out, but starting to look pretty good. Sawneyrath, on the other hand, going to get the item, going to exit out and take the lead.
Yes.
I would say any second now.
We're going to get another high five.
Yeah, the mirror match continues. They're just about screen for screen at the 34-minute mark.
This has been quite an interesting race so far, and even though they're currently neck and neck, Sawny does have the upper hand with the loot, the translated slab, and an option. Let me rephrase that. He has a direction that he can go, but he lacks one necessary vital part to get there.
Yeah, so heading on back up to the northern continent, and we now know there's something in ice that we need.
Yeah. Now, knowing that you've pretty much cleared out everything you can outside the inner sea, and now you know you have to go all the way back, that would add to my tilt at this point, because I was just there. I had the opportunity, and I decided to risk it, and now I have to go back. So that would definitely throw me through a loop. But it looks like they are again following in each other's footsteps, with the exception, I think, Petetron and Sani parked in different places. Petetron looks like he's going straight to ice.
Yeah, so Petetron taking the faster route, and Sawneyrath taking the safer route, going back and checking in at the inn before heading up to the same dock. Now, I've just been turning something over in my brain, and I hesitate to even say it, because there is a such thing as a commentator's curse, and I don't want to bring that on these runners. But there is a possibility, however remote, that this ice play is also garbage, and that the progression is in the bottom half of Sky. It's pretty unlikely, but we could see something like a pickup of a bottle here in ice, and then its floater in
the bottom of Sky.
It's pretty unlikely, but wouldn't it be interesting to see if that happens? Because both of these runners are going to see that, and they're both going to feel like, oh, I've just lost.
Exactly. At the same time, the masochist part of me wants that hard play, because if I see that and I know that my opponent is having to deal with the same thing, I have to hope that they are less prepared, and now that gives me a chance.
Yeah, exactly. It goes back into that whole, metagaming / psychic gaming side of it. It could also be another difficult thing like Oxyale in here. And you're like, well, I was just down there and now I got to go back, but at least I know it was required.
Precisely. In fact, that would probably tilt me even further, is an Oxyale in the ice cave. Knowing that I have to go back to the place I just was a second time, I would be fuming.
Now,
However, so far, oh, you go first.
Okay, well, thank you. So I was just going to say that the other thing that we could see here in ice that could lead to divergence, because we keep looking for divergence and keep not getting it. The other thing that could lead to that is a good grind on one of the trap tiles in here.
Absolutely. An eye grind would be great. A worm grind, possible. What else could be fantastic? What would you hope to see at this current level with your current spells and comp? What grind would fit best?
I would be looking maybe for metal slimes with a party like this that I'm quite happy to see the levels be spread around. I've got that low level fade, so something that has a lot of XP and goes down to a single fade shot. That's the type of thing I'd like to see. Maybe more than the eye grind even, because the eye grind could take longer depending on what it has and how much spells you got to waste to get it down.
Right now, I think we might be on A side tiles, because that Phantom is a vanilla trap tile. So if we're on A side, I don't think we're gonna see metal slimes.
Well, okay, dropping the knowledge, and I appreciate it. There's been some talk about this, though, and I've been mixed up about this lately. I, like you, used to believe that metal slimes were only on B side, but I have been told by several runners now with more experience than me that they do appear on both. So if anybody in chat can definitively say one way or the other, then I'd love to hear it, because, yeah, like you never saw the metal slimes in the vanilla game, so how could they be on the A sides?
And I'm not, I would not call myself a book of knowledge about this yet. I'm still quite new, and I've only just started to get an idea of what trap tiles have either side. But we're seeing mud golems on another trap tile, so this is not looking. This is looking pretty vanilla so far, in my opinion.
Okay, well, I'll agree with you there. We certainly haven't seen anything that's definitively B side. That's for sure.
But we also have not found our incentive item yet. Our fighter on Tetron's side has taken the dive.
Oh,
and it's the Oxy Ale. We have done it.
We have, although we did throw out a few different options there. Here's another vanilla game tile, Blue D. I think you're right. I think we are dealing with A sides. So the question is just which A side grind is the best one to find at this point. That Blue D went down pretty quick though.
That Blue D was not very healthy at all. But now that Sawney has the item in hand, he's exiting out, which means Sawney is now in the lead. Petetron about to find his, and he's probably going to check that grind tile as well. And unfortunately, no, he's not. That is a much smarter play. He's taking that item and getting out of dodge as soon as he can.
Yeah, the difference here being not having exit. You feel like every step counts, although he is checking extra boxes. I don't love this play. With the variety of enemies that you have down here, there's a lot of risk to doing that.
Yeah. Sawney is practically in the clear now. Just gotta keep running away from this Caribes. Fortunately, Caribes don't seem to have anything too nasty. We are gonna go for some greed bot checks.
Don't go in the hole. Okay. Oof. So Tetron making it out of Ice Cave. Our tracker, Guardian Marcus, checking in chat and confirming or opining or whatever the word may be, saying that slimes do appear on A sides. So yeah, I'm not sure how that works, how they could appear on A sides when they weren't in the original game, but it's probably just a coding thing where there's some extra encounters that don't show up, but they're there somehow.
This means that there is a chance that we could see a metal slime tile in Earth, which is probably the best place, in my opinion, to find them.
Have we not checked Earth yet? We haven't checked Earth yet.
Nobody's even gone there. It's on the table. They have that early rod. It's not incentivized, but you have access to a handful of boxes if you're still looking for gear. A ribbon would be fantastic. Grind tiles would be great. And you get your first orb lit, and then you never have to go back over there again. But Sawny is going to be the first one into the Sea Shrine. We're going to see what kind of insanity is waiting for us there. We already know that there's seafood party packs, and they are not nice.
Yeah, those seafood party packs are not particularly fun. What we do have going for us, though, is I think we did see Brack. We did definitely see Bane at level 4. So there's a couple of instant kill options for taking down Kraken if necessary.
Yes. And it looks like Sonny might be going mermaid side first, which I personally agree with here. I don't feel strong enough to take on Kraken immediately, especially since my fighter is not very well equipped right now. He's still swinging I think a vanilla ice sword at this point. He has an iron shield and maybe a silver gauntlet -1. So not great.
Yep, so let's see what the right side has in store for Sawny. Now, right side is a good play when you don't have the best levels and you're not super confident in your ability to take down Kraken. So I like the choice to go right side first here. Sawneyrath has not done any serious grinding yet.
We finally have our first case of deviance. Petetron stepping into the volcano for the first time.
I like the way you put that, the first case of deviance. Not the first case of deviance in the Final Fantasy Randomizer community, I don't think, but certainly the first case of deviation on this run. As Sawneyrath checks TFC floor, comes up, nothing, and keeps checking in mermaids.
There is still a chance that it could be in TFC, but considering this is where our logic is pointing us, probably not.
Yeah, you'd need the Mystic Key in order to check that, which they don't have. So, yeah, it could happen if the Mystic Key is in Sky or something weird, and we'd have to come back again. Oh, wouldn't that be awful? But probably won't see that. Probably are going to see some different item, either on Mermaid's floor or on our left side as we charge up towards the squid.
Petetron finding a mage tile.
Okay, so mages or mages and fighters?
Just mages.
Okay.
Could possibly have a mage and a fighter pop in there, but it looked like just mages. However, Petetron rewarded for checking out Volcano getting a ribbon. Sawny, however, grabbing the floater out of Mermaid.
Yeah, so 2 huge finds just milliseconds apart. Ribbon, your first ribbon is really critical, especially with party composition that doesn't include a black belt. Floater is, I mean, come on, it's a floater.
That's
It's
progression.
often required, and even when it's not, look at this, two ribbons in the fire armory. So yeah, wow, lots of items.
So that call that I made earlier about checking into the armory of Volcano would have been huge. The time in Ordeals would have been far better with those ribbons on the party. Sawny still definitely has the lead here as he goes back in, trying to gonna go down and show Kraken what's up.
You know, if I'd have found those 2 ribbons all the way back then when you were talking about it, I might have been tempted to vendor one of them just for the cash. And so I mean, it's almost good that we didn't find it that fast because we might have seen the unthinkable.
That I would have never thought about that. We're being rated by SpeedGaming Portuguese. Welcome, everybody. Quick update of what's happening. We started off with a mirror comp where Petetron picked a party and Sawneyrath decided to mirror that party. So we got fighter, red mage, black mage. And our fighter has plus 40 strength, and our red mages plus 40 health, and our black mages plus 30 health.
Great break. Oh, sorry,
first.
Tetron, go ahead.
I'm not Tetron.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm definitely sorry,
Nightmare
Phoenix. Yeah.
Tetron did a thing.
I just wanted to say, if you'll excuse me for just a moment. Olá todo mundo e seja bem-vindo aos nossos amigos do Brasil. E Portugal também. Sorry, I just had to throw that in there.
That makes life easier. We just saw Sonny grab a ribbon from the floor just before Kraken.
So that's 3 ribbons now.
That's all 3 ribbons.
Okay, we're swimming in ribbons.
It was in the Sharknado room. Yep. Can't believe I spaced on that name a second time. Finding a mage staff, a short sword plus 4. I mean, we've seen worse weapons so far. And
yeah, are you starting to think about swinging that mage staff plus 4 at this point? Because we haven't seen a ton of swords.
No, not at all. I'd might use it once or twice. All right, Sonny giving us our first taste of Kraken 1. Going with some Banes. Oh, and Kraken is very punchy.
So Sawneyrath trying a little bit of Bane strats on this Kraken, and may need it, although we're doing halfway decent damage with about 300 that came out earlier. We're really leaning into these Bane strats though. Kraken dropping a hold. Now this was something I was concerned about before, and gonna fast up the fighter. Wow, this doesn't look very good for Sonny, does it?
Not at all, but he's practically out of Banes. Doesn't have Brack. He's probably going to try and temper up his fighter and hope his fighter can punch through. Unfortunately, punching through is what Kraken does best, and down goes his fighter.
Yeah, I think the 300 damage I saw earlier was actually Kraken hitting one of the red mages. So yeah Sawneyrath is in deep doo-doo now with no more Banes and just down to the lit 3s.
Well, we might, if we can get right turn order, we might be able to squeeze a victory out of Kraken. Dropping a fire too. That could have gone so much worse. And unfortunately, it didn't go at all.
Oh, you got my hopes up there, Nightmare Phoenix. So with those lit 3s going, I was starting to think, can he do it? But
I was trying to will it into existence, unfortunately. And Tetron finding a defender, looks like it rolled a +1. He also found ice -2 armor. So at least now his fighter has something to wear that will hopefully stand up to a couple hits.
I mean, I guess it's endgame armor. I'm not super pleased about it though.
No, not at all. I personally, knowing that there's a tail out there just waiting for you to grab it, I would probably hope to find more endgame armor, like a dragon armor. If I found a dragon armor, Aegis shield, an X-Cal, I would probably finish whatever I was doing, go grab the tail, go promote, and then get on. The only bad part, Tetron not having the floater yet, means he's probably not thinking of that. Chat saying that the dragon armor might have been located and a -5 on it. Still decent, but not that -5. You hate to see it.
Yeah, I didn't catch that dragon armor, and you're right. At -5, it's not wonderful, but it's still dragon armor. It's still got a lot of resistances, so it'll be helpful with promotion for sure.
Then again, chat could be confusing the other match. And at 52 minutes, 8 seconds, Tetron lighting the first orb.
Yeah, no, I don't see
Cracky.
dragon armor in Sawneyrath's inventory, so if it's there, it's got to be in Tetron's.
We'll take a peek at it when we get a chance. Sonny making his way back to Kraken.
Okay, so Sawneyrath gonna take another shot at Kraken. Tetron, meanwhile, has an Orbilit, but Sonny's got more items. So would you put either of these runners in the lead at this point?
because one of the items that Sonny has is a floater. I would say it's currently Sonny's game right now. Petetron still has to get out again of the inner sea area, go all the way back to sea, go down to the mermaid side first, grab the floater, come back, get the floater to progress. Because I'm imagining right now that our key is going to be behind a slab or inside Lefane?
Could be. And you're probably right. There is still the chance that progression is in Sky. So if Petetron makes the Sky play now, then it could go that way. But I wouldn't put the percentages on that side, and I don't think that's what Petetron's doing.
Not at all. Sawny trying some different strats this time, going with a bunch of invis, tempers, fast, and he's going to hope that he can punch Kraken down and make some sushi.
Yeah, it can be the safer play if you think you can get your evasion up high enough. The fighter's doing about 100 damage at the moment, and Kraken is not doing enough to kill it with a single hit, so it looks like Sawneyrath might be over the hump, but we've got to hope that Kraken's not sitting on one of the more dangerous boss pool damages.
A crack or a high-hitting spell would just destroy him. But fortunately, we don't have to think about it. He's out of there. As we see Petetron picking up some gold -3 bracelets. Possibly.
Yeah, I think he bought at least one. It might be the silver armor instead. The thing is, gold -3 is not that great.
No, not at all. However, the next best option that we have so far is vanilla silver.
Vanilla silver. Which, is that really worse? I think the difference is about 10 absorb.
I want to say a basic silver might be 16? I would have to look it up.
Yeah, I had the shortcut that I have in my mind. I don't know the exact numbers, but the shortcut in my mind is if you see silver +4, that's basically vanilla gold. So gold -3 would be better under those rules than a vanilla silver, but not by a ton. And given the amount of money that you have to spend, maybe not worth it.
A vanilla silver bracelet is 15 absorb. So those gold bracelets being at 18 absorb, still slightly better than our basic silver.
Well, yeah, but not at -3, because you'd have to take 6 away from your 18 and get 12. Math on Twitch. Gotta love it.
Oh dear. And this is why you don't ever do math on Twitch, folks.
That's right. I've probably still got it wrong. So anyways, Petetron is going to save up and head into Ordeals and going to get that, what was it, loot that we had in here?
Let's see. Yes, it was the loot. And if you have the multi-instrumentalist Sarah on, it's the
It's the horn that they blow at soccer matches, that one.
Yes. Vuvuzela. I would have to see it again to pronounce it.
As long as we don't have to ever hear one again.
Yes. I think the in-game status boxes that tell you the stats of the item are already discounted. That said, the gold bracelets, vanilla is 24 absorb. So at -3,
that sounds right, actually.
We're already seeing it at 18. So, and the slab turn into an herb.
Right. So okay. So the gold -3 would still be better than this vanilla silvers because you'd be taking 6 away from 24, getting 18. Right. But 18 and 15, that's not a huge difference, is it?
Yeah. Petetron revisiting his old nemesis, the seafood party pack.
Oh boy, and still having trouble with it. Going with fades instead of lit 3s. I wonder if that's the difference maker, because with these mobs being weak to lightning, maybe it's a better call, but I don't know the spells well enough, and that fade just sure did a lot of work right there.
Sonny, now that with the floater in hand, gonna go all the way down and get himself promoted.
Here's the Gargoyles with Sleep Touch, and Sawneyrath becomes Big Mario. So Petetron picking up a free pro ring in Ordeal's going to continue to do the checks, probably see that trap tile as well, as Sawneyrath gets TNT from the elf. So just continuing the quest chain.
Petetron having to pass through this this tile because he still has no exit or warp. Warp probably going to be level 8.
Yeah, at this stage, it's not looking super available. That exit doing a lot of work for Sawneyrath. Going to go up and check the TNT, most likely, right here. No, taking a right-hand turn. Some shopping at Provoca, looks like.
Yes, but what could it be after? Houses, I think. Or no, he promoted, so time to get some spells on your knight. Especially at Fade at level 2. You never know when you might come in handy.
Yeah, that's not super useful. Could be good, though, if we end up trying to do a solo fighter grind on a multi-party pack. Pretty limited usefulness. But this here, level 1, we're going to get Invis 2 and Cure 3. Those, I think, could come in real handy for that fight.
Fog 2, not a horrible choice either. Definitely less useful than Invis 2.
Yeah, if you've got the choice for both, I think the community has come down pretty solidly on the side of Evade is king. But with that shopping done, Sawneyrath is going to check the TNT. We're going to get to see what this is as Petetron faces down some sharks in the Sea Shrine.
And I think Petetron is going to go down Kraken's side, and that TNT blasted out a cube from the wall. Fog 2 being white locked.
Yeah, so, okay. Let's see if we can figure something out here. We haven't seen the crystal yet. We haven't seen the adamant yet, or the bottle. We have everything we need for go mode except the key. Can we determine where that key is just from logic? Because
there's only one place we haven't been yet, and that's in Sky.
Yeah, so Sky has to have something that leads to something else that ends up leading to the key, doesn't it?
Yes. Which then begs the question, where's our bottle? Where's our adamant? Where's the crystal?
Yeah, so Sky is going to have a chain that's going to lead into a branching chain that will lead into the key. So it's going to be a little bit of a difference in terms of who checks in what order, but the big thing is we had to do all of C, and now we're going to have to do all of C.
Yep.
This is a trolley seed. Wow.
I was just going to mention that this seed is definitely, with their routing ideas, is definitely throwing them all over the map with no mercy whatsoever. Because once you get that key in hand, the first thing you probably go do is open up Corneria. Corneria likely will lead us to a ruby. Ultimately, a bunch of things that we don't need, and then a power bomb, which, again, could be useful. But for that long grind to get it, probably not so much.
Now, I just had a thought. We have forgotten about that slab.
The slab turned into the herb.
Oh, okay, so they did check
Herb
slab.
turned to TNT, and
Okay.
TNT gave us a cube.
Okay, so no, we are going to have to check Sky. Sawneyrath, the first one to get in there to see where it's going to be. So get your guesses out in chat. Which chest is it going to be? You can give a number between 1 and however many there are in Sky, which I don't know offhand, but there sure are a lot. And there's the first one right there.
Ooh, Xcal +5, Masa +3. Maybe an early Sky play would have been nice.
Yeah, definitely finding all the swords. I mean, you could... It looks like the Red Mage maybe has the Xcal.
Fighter has both, but he's currently swinging the Xcal.
Okay. So there's Go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying Tetron making his way all the way to still going down to Kraken. And then what were you gonna say?
I was just going to say that's 8 chests for anyone who's counting, and I see that Delaloy in chat is going for 11. So we'll see once Sonny goes back in there if 11 is the magic number.
Sonny gonna go and probably buy some camping gear. Not a bad choice. Maybe we'll find houses. Hey, houses. With 111,000 gil to our name, we may as well. And Tetron picking up his final ribbon. Finding a red dragon tile. Not horrible, but also not great at this point.
No, I agree with your assessment. Red Dragon can be pretty good, and that one didn't have a ton of HP. The thing I don't love about it is where it is. You have to kill it, and then you have to get out. So that can be troublesome if you want to do a single party grind, and Tetron's deciding to move on.
He still has to get through Kraken, because he's come so far. He may as well. He still has no exit spell, so once he finds the floater in here, he's got, in Mermaid, he's got to walk all the way back out. Which is another reason why I'm on Team Mermaids first, especially if I don't have a some kind of maneuverability spell.
Yeah, that's an interesting debate. Left side or right side in Sea Shrine. I'm in the other camp. I like to go left side first, but as I was saying before, it does kind of depend on what your levels are like. And Tetrons aren't the best, so yeah, I can see a right side play first here.
My whole thinking is I don't want to be in here any longer than I have to be, and I don't want to have to come back here at all. So if I can one stop shop. If I can hit one place and be out, I'm gonna do that.
Yeah, fair
right.
enough.
This is the room I was expecting the key item to be in. And it's a ruby.
It was. Look at that. In chat, if you guessed 18, you were correct. So Delaloy, you're just a little bit shy, but not too far off the mark.
And we all know that ruby can only really holds you off from Sarda if you don't have a floater, which we have our airship on Sonny's side. So we have no need of the ruby. Unless we think we're hurting for ribbons. Because at this point, Sonny has pretty much everything else he ever wants.
Yeah, now we've made an error, Nightmare, because you and I, we were thinking, or at least I was thinking, that there had to be progression here in Sky, but instead we got the dud of duds. So what did we miss? What haven't they checked?
Well, technically speaking, we haven't found the dud of duds, because if you were on foot, which you can access the Sky on foot, well, with a ship, you could get that ruby and then go all the way back down to Sarda, to the Titan's Cave.
Yes, but they've got the floater already.
Well, Sonny does. Tetron still hasn't found it. If Tetron does not go down Mermaid side, and Sarda has the key, that's all the progression we need. And that would be go mode.
So has Sawneyrath just not flown to Sarda yet?
Correct. He grabbed the floater and then came right back up to Lefane, got the herb flew around, did some more things, and now he's pretty much thinking that he doesn't need, he only needs the key. So he's just gonna clear this out while he's here, get an orb lit, and go.
Yeah, that opal armor gonna be pretty good for the fighter, just in terms of a lot of base evade, absorb. We've already got the ribbon, so we don't really need the resistance, but being able to take a punch, that'll come in handy.
Chat pointing out that Sawneyrath has Mario 3 sprites for his characters. And Toad is a red mage. Well, correction, at this point, Toad is a red wizard.
Yeah, you gotta get your titles right, Nightmare Phoenix.
Little excited at the fact that Petetron is about to find a floater. And he's going to be really happy to see that. But it could also put some more stress on him, thinking, you know what, if he came here first, I'm doomed.
Yeah, at the 1 hour and 9 minute mark, it's definitely going to cross your mind. Sawneyrath, on the other hand, continuing on to cross the Bridge of Destiny. So if you like Warmech, you're going to get a treat because we have got a required Warmech that these runners must have agreed to.
That was something I totally missed in their setup. We got some Futurama quotes coming from Warmech.
So Warmech not normally required in Spring Tournament pod flags this year. However, the runners have decided between themselves that they're going to require it. So there's pros and cons to requiring Warmech. One of the pros is that you've got a pretty good pool of experience there. And you know if you come in here with good enough levels, it's basically free, as Sawneyrath shows us right now, getting 14k on each one of his light warriors.
Petetron touching all the boxes on Mermaid Floor. Now walking out, and he has to walk all the way back up. Or down, technically. To get back to the overworld. Again, not having that early exit really costing him a lot of time that he doesn't realize he needs. And Sawny, through air, right now, both races have 2 orbs lit. And Sawny just has to do a little bit of cleanup and find that key, which he's now going to Sarda.
Yeah, he's on the scent. He said it's straightforward. Either this is going to, well, this is almost definitely going to have to be something that leads to the key. But yeah, we're actually going to have another chain that's, so the key is going to lead to Corneria. Corneria is going to be either the adamant or the crystal, which will lead to the other one. Or sorry, the bottle has to be second last. So it'll be the crystal or the adamant leading to the bottle, leading to the other one. So neither of them are going to need to follow that chain any further.
And Sawny now knowing that because he already got that white shirt, he has all the required items. The last item he needs, or could get, is a power bonk. And you know what? That's just not necessary.
Yeah, good point. Power bonk's still on the table. Yeah, they've got at least that mass immune is going to be something that you can just pretty much use out the gate, and they've got Excalibur for Sawneyrath, who's promoted. They've got access to Fast and Temper. Power bonk definitely not something that would be required at this point.
And Sawny going straight down to Lich. Just gonna light that orb and be done with Earth.
Yep, this is usually, at this point, it's not really much more than a formality. Sawneyrath has got ribbons and high-level light warriors, so going to be blasting through here. Petetron, on the other hand, is heading down to, looks like cash in that floater and get in the air finally at the 1 hour and 14-minute mark or so.
After that, he's likely going to head over to Earth himself.
Yeah, hopefully we'll stop off at Sarda first, because that'll get him the key. But looks like he's thinking about it, trying to decide if he's going to go back to Sky, but doesn't have the cube, so thinking better of it, and heading over to Marsh, it looks like, going to be rewarded with the tail.
That's exactly what he's doing. He's going to go grab that tail, he's going to go promote, and start equipping some of that gear he found.
Yeah, so Petetron, I believe, knows that this is a tail. I think we saw him get as far as to see it before. So this is a conscious play.
Sawney is essentially in go mode. The only thing that would probably be worrying me on Sawney's side right now is lack of good grinds for a level. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if he dives into Topher a little bit to see if there's anything decent in there. Or now that I have the key, maybe check out the locked room in Northwest.
Yeah, there's a couple of places to look. The locked room in Northwest is definitely one of the best. There's also the first floor of Topher itself has another one. But the thing is, Sawneyrath has really great gear. I don't really know if he'll need to grind. We've got weapons in fast and temper, and we've got multiple ribbons. I mean, with this party, you don't necessarily need to go in there with level 28 plus.
Well, we haven't seen... Pardon. We haven't seen anything truly frightening come out yet from any of the other fiends. No nukes, no nuclears, no zaps. So there's still a high chance that all of our refights are going to have those. And if they start taking out those red mages, the only source of life that Sawney has, he's going to be hard-pressed to keep going and make it.
Yes, you're making good points, but I will counter with this. First of all, we haven't really seen, other than Warmac, we haven't seen any of the boss 2 fights anyways. So in terms of the overall chance of them having those nasty skills, they're the same as they would be in any case. The other thing, though, I think that might be a little bit more relevant is the fact that we did have that fixed HP bonus to both the red mages and the black mages early on. So that's going to make them a lot more survivable than you'd expect them to be at these levels.
Absolutely. Sawney is he avoided the armory. He's not looking for any gear, so he's passing up 2 ribbons. Arguably, probably doesn't need them. So he's gonna go light his final orb here in probably another, I'd say 90 seconds.
Yeah, for sure. Not going to have any trouble with carry, and it's what I'd do too. It hurts that he's losing out on not 1 but 2 ribbons in armory. I'm sure he would stop for that if he knew they were there, but not knowing, there's no reason that you'd think to do it.
Right. Petetron just grabbing his key, probably going to head over to Corneria. Yep, and he's going to grab whatever's in there, which I don't think we've looked yet.
No, but whatever it is, it's going to be nothing. And worse than that, it's going to be a chain that leads to nothing. So Petetron, unfortunately, giving up a little bit of time here.
And because he doesn't know that the cube is behind the slab chain, he's gonna find this adamant. He's gonna go turn that in. Probably pull a crystal or the bottle, likely both, and then get all the way down, turn all those in for a power bonk, and he's gonna feel so far behind at that point. I think if I was Tetron, the first thing I would have done once I got my floater, go back and buy exit.
Yeah, Tetron certainly making a run at completing the seed altogether without that movement magic. Sawneyrath, on the other hand, about to enter Topher at the 1 hour 18 minute, and let's call it, as he heals up, maybe 15-second mark.
Bottled from the smith. Tetron gonna go check out the armory, the dwarf armory. And he hasn't been to Sky yet, so he doesn't have the Excalibur Masa. He doesn't even know it's in there. Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry to jump in on you there. You're absolutely right. Definitely hunting for a weapon. I just wanted to call out the old school strats from Sawneyrath. Burning off all the houses before going into Topher. Must be working with a renounced auto sort inventory on and wants to have things where he knows they are.
Yes, I do believe I saw that he had the Vuvuzela at the top of his item inventory, so definitely renounced auto sort. Sonny finding a rather large pack of OK men. Tetron gonna go make that promotion play now.
Yeah, you're right. I don't like seeing that Nuke and Fade get burnt off on those OK men, but I definitely can definitely understand why Sonny would do it. They hit hard, and he doesn't have a lot of HP to spare.
Yeah, that the adamant turned into a bottle, which will likely turn into a crystal, which will then turn into a power bonk.
Yep, Sawneyrath dropping some more AoEs and doesn't have a lot of nuke charges. Fighter taking a nap. We're going to be able to life him back up, but yeah, I don't like Sonny's resources.
That was the one thing I was worried about with of levels. Sonny swinging an X-Cal or a Masa. X-Cal rolled +5, Masa rolled +3. Tetron swinging the Defender +1, which with the fighter's blessing is not going to be horrible.
Yeah, Defender +1 with +15 strength. I mean, it's workable. You've got fast and you've got temper. And the Defender doubles as a great caster item that casts Ruse. So you've technically got what you need, but I can understand why Tetron would continue to hunt. And more importantly, still is not in go mode. It still needs to find that cube.
Right. He's chasing down a rabbit hole, which, unbeknownst to him, is the wrong rabbit hole to be diving down, because it's not a rabbit hole. It's a latrine hole. And we have Lich 1. Sorry, Lich 2. He may as well have been Lich 1. He went down so quick. The cube was a turn-in after a chain from the slab. Went slab, herb, TNT. There's a crystal on Tetron's side from the bottle. Tetron still without any kind of movement spells. Walking out of there. Got to walk all the way up to go visit. Where was my brain going?
Well, I'm not sure, but I would just want to jump in and say Tetron is finally going to check the slab and not immediately be rewarded with the cube, but unbeknownst to him, leading to it. So the question is, which chain will he follow from here? Does he continue to follow the slab chain, or does he turn in the crystal?
Knowing that I had pulled the slab so incredibly early in the run, I honestly probably would try to finish that one out. Getting stopped by a Liffen who unfortunately says a lot more than one line. I would finish out the cube line. Well, what we know is to be the cube line. Sonny taking on Carry 2. some fastened tempers.
Yeah, that's some good points. The logic is sound in terms of, hey, I'm expecting to have access to Sky earlier rather than way, way, way at the end of the game. I wouldn't have thought about it that way myself, but it does make sense. And in terms of this seed, it does check out. Sawneyrath taking down carry 2 and onto the water floor.
Not getting caught on that infamous corner. Well, it's infamous to me.
Yeah, chat pointing out that all of Lefane has 2 lines. They have whatever they say in English and Lupa?
That's a fact that I hope I try to avoid. Petetron making the walk back to his ship, and we're gonna see where it goes now. But it looks like he might go turn in the crystal first, since he's over here.
Yeah, it's a proximity play, so it makes sense.
Not a horrible play. We also get to see what she was holding on to.
Yeah, and we've got a house, a tent, and a heal. So there's your camper starter pack right there.
And there's the power bonk getting turned over. Petetron probably thinking that he has no idea where the cube is, but he has a TNT. So now he's going to go turn that in. Or sorry, he has the herb. He's going to go turn that in, get the TNT, and then do that. As we see Kraken 2 just demolishing Red Mage. Demolishing Red 1.
Yep, just where's Red the 12th?
I thought it was Red 13.
I knew I was close.
Yeah, you were quite close.
Petetron, continuing with Full Clear Simulator here, has to be getting frustrated. Has everything except for the ruby and the cube at this point.
I think this is a decent time while Kraken 2 is being a butt to go over kind of what happened at the start of this race, where Petetron and Sonny decided to do a mirror match, which we'll get into a little bit in a second, with a required war mech. So Petetron picked the composition and went with fighter red black, with fighter with plus 40 strength, the red mages plus 40 health, and black mage with plus 30 health. And then Sony matched him with the same party, and away we went.
Yeah, so excellent breakdown, Nightmare Phoenix. I just got to ask the question, is now the time that we introduce the Black Mirror meta?
I think we have to introduce a Black Mirror meta, especially after this entire seed has been oddly mirrored. So we need to introduce the Black Mirror, where instead of copying what everybody else is doing, you have to do the exact opposite. So, all those white mages, make them black mages. All those red mages, well, now they're thieves. You bring a fighter, now it's a black belt.
Yeah, exactly, Nightmare Phoenix. So I think we've done it. I think we've just thrown the gauntlet down to all the veterans out there. I mean, if you think you got swagger and run the mirror comps, how about the Black Mirror?
And speaking of swagger, here is Chaos looking quite pink.
Oh yeah, he's definitely a little bit extra, this Chaos.
And we are invising up. Starting to get some fast on our fighter, as Petetron is making his way down to Lich. It's a big hit from the fighter. I think the fighter switched to the Masa. So next hit, 1436 out of 6 hits, was that? That was some beefy damage. And 1166, and that's it. Get your GGs in chat. Sawneyrath takes this win with room. Wait, hold on. With a racetime.gg time of 1 hour, 27 minutes, and 45 seconds.
Absolutely. Get your GGs out for Sawneyrath, putting down that just flaming pink chaos. And wow, after what a tough seed, Nightmare. I mean, it just threw just about everything at them, didn't it?
It really did. It threw them all over the map with their routing. It tried to stall them many times with some really unfortunate enemy placement. The Sifu Party Pack for one, and then all the bones and the crawls. They really they got the best of it, if you would, so choose to say that.
Stupid trance blaze poison.
We're joined by Sawny. GG, Sawneyrath.
Thank you.
So what did you think of that seed?
I mean, those were my thoughts. Stupid trance blaze poison. That was actually a little infuriating, but nothing too terrible to deal with. It was just getting exit before actually going to do swamp or marsh is what I should have done.
Exit, by the way, is definitely the MVP spell of this seed.
Oh, no. There.
We saw it save you so much time. You could get in, get out, do what you needed to do. Whereas Petetron still hasn't picked up exit as of this time. So he's got to walk everything out, and that is taking so much more time. I think even once doing it, he ended up wiping. So it was definitely a solid play on your part to go back for exit when you did. I have to take a moment to put my thoughts together because, wow, this seed was not a pleasant one for you guys at all.
No, the early game was very far from pleasant, and the fact that I think I had my first orb lit up just before 50 minutes was a little upsetting. Nothing too terribly upsetting, but after I had that first orb lit, everything just snowballed from there.
Yeah, once getting that first orb definitely was the peak of your momentum gain, and you definitely started zooming after that.
Finding both Mazza +3 and Excal +5 were just an added bonus due to the damage output on both of those weapons, though I never equipped Mazza +5 on any other character. I kept it on the Knight that entire time because I knew that was going to be the in-game weapon after I got past Lich 2.
Absolutely. Yeah, they this seed, while being very heavy-handed with its horrible enemies, it did decide to put a lot of really good gear really close together. As you saw with the Masa and the Excal in the same room, Petetron found 2 ribbons in the Volcano Armory.
I was thinking about checking Volcano Armory, though I never did, because at that point I was like, I feel like I'm behind. I honestly do. But at the same time, I didn't account for Petetron not getting exit, which it sucks, but at the same time, it's also a bit of a learning experience, and a lot of these tournaments really are massive learning experiences for a lot of the newer players that decide to come into them. So hopefully he's able to take that away for the next few races that he does.
Absolutely. He was treading the path ahead of you for the majority of the race, where we saw you bounce off of Garland once, or rather bounce off of the minions of Garland, and ever after that you were always several steps behind Petetron as he made his routing, and you just followed right behind him. You guys had several high fives in Waterfall, and it was at that point that you started to creep ahead, and shortly thereafter, it, as you said, snowballed, and it went away from there.
Yeah, Waterfall was kind of the tricky area, and bouncing off of everything else just hurt a lot. I mean, like I said, Stupid Bones with Trance Blaze Poison. Those things just did me in, I think, 4 times in this seed, which, yeah, it sucks, but what you gonna do?
Yeah, Rando's gonna Rando.
Gotta keep playing your game.
Well, still on stream, we got Petetron going against his Warmech. Did you guys decide to do the required Warmech and then the mirror party? Was there anything else crazy you wanted to were hoping to do in that flag set?
Not really. Tetron proposed the forced Warmech, and then I proposed that I play mirror whatever he ends up making. And when he told me fighter double red black, I already had a slight strategy coming into the seed, but Magic didn't entirely roll in the favor of that strategy, but I adjusted it ever so slightly and everything worked out just fine. I was thinking about doing 4 forced just to really throw some spice on, but I didn't want to put Tetron in that uncomfortable of a position, considering that he's still fairly new to running this game.
That seems fair. I was looking at the classes that he chose, and the Blursings really worked out only for this party comp. Like, there really wasn't anything great for the rest of them. So seeing the fighter with plus 40 strength, what were you hoping to find in the early game to carry you through if it wasn't going to be the Masa or the Excal?
Either a flame or ice sword plus at least 3.
We did. I don't think we saw really. I think we saw a flame sword roll negative. Don't think we saw an ice sword. A lot of things rolled negative in this seed, and it was quite unfortunate. I think the best thing Tetron has found so far has been the Defender +1. I don't think he checked any of the other chests in Sky.
That might actually hurt him later on, since he won't have the Maza and its insane damage output with increased crit rate.
Absolutely. I mean, even if the Excal +5 is nothing to shy away from either.
No, Excal +5 is nothing to sneeze at.
But when you have a Masa +3, why are you looking at the Excal +5?
I mean, I think the Maza +3 still has a higher crit rate than the Excal +5, but then it's factoring the elemental weaknesses being hit versus just the sheer damage output. It's kind of tough to decide on until you're actually in the real in-game.
Tetron is getting into Topher at 136.17. And so hopefully here in a bit, he should be joining us in the booth. Right, I have been talking this whole time. I'm gonna give my voice a rest. Rock Solid, I turn it over to you for a bit.
Yeah, thanks, Nightmare. I'll get in here and do a little bit of chatting myself. So while we're watching Tetron get started on Topher, Sawney, yeah, you and Nightmare Phoenix did a pretty good job at running over. I don't have too much to really add to that, but I did want to ask you, how did you get over the frustration? Because you had early troubles with Marsh, and they didn't end there. You caught up to Tetron and Ordeals, had some more problems there, and then got onto the Sea Shrine, where you wiped at least once to Kraken, with a party that wasn't really set up to take on Kraken. Were you hoping to get off a Bane? Was that your strategy going in there?
Yeah, actually, it was. I wanted to kind of test the waters, see how hard Kraken hit. how many hits she had, and then decide how many invises I needed to do from there. But at that point, I believe one of my casters got stunned. So it was all out Banes until I died. And then once I ran out of Bane charges on the Black Mage, who was the last character standing, it was lit 3. And I believe, if my math wasn't off, I was probably about 80 to 90 HP away from killing Kraken 1 when I did wipe, which did put me on tilt a little bit, but a deep breath and knowing I could change my strategy is what allowed me to continue back in with a clear head.
Yeah, and we were right there with you, buddy. I mean, we saw you casting those lit 3s and getting them off with the turn order. It was happening for you. And you must have been less than 100 health left. It was that close. But you kept your head up, you headed back in there, and with that win, that is when things started to turn around for you. So, that perseverance must have come from a lot of experience. Do you have a sense for how many races you've run?
I actually don't have a wild guess. I would have to look it up real quick and do the math real fast. Because I believe I've run 7 total here on Race Time, but I don't remember how many I ran on SRL before we switched over to Race Time.
Yeah, and that change, I think, came at about the same time that I got started running this late last year, October-ish or so, I think, is when people started switching over switching over to racetime.gg. And with the Duckling Derby that I ran in, I think was the first time that a tournament was done there. So, being around and having that experience, I think it definitely helped you get this win from a tough seed. But let's take our attention back to Petetron, because Petetron here is on to the business end of Topher, and we're about to see the carry fight. Carry's not something to be taken lightly now. We didn't see any huge nukes or anything that I can recall from Sawney's fights with these fiends. But Petetron doesn't have the same type of offensive weapons, so maybe taking a little bit longer with some of these fights.
I think he's also still hoping to find to get a couple levels maybe here and there, just because he doesn't quite have the gear that Sawney had going in.
Yeah, good point. And it's something that you'll do when you really want to get things over with and hope that things roll your way. It's always a bit risky taking the levels in Topher, because if you wipe, you lose them. But sometimes you don't have a choice. Anyways, we've got a fast, some locks and tempers going out. I like that fighter down at the bottom, doing huge damage and taking out Carry with a single blow.
I do have an answer to the total of races, rock solid.
Oh, late on
specifically
us.
Recorded ones. 105 total recorded races. With the RaceBot races added as well, I've done about 70 to 80 of those, so 175 to 185 races total of FFR, which is also the most of any game I've played.
Oh, which other games do you play?
So long ago I did Free Enterprise races, Link to the Past Randomizer races, and Kirby Superstar races because Kirby Superstar is my main speed game, and Kirby Superstar is way behind in overall races compared to FFR and FF4 FE.
Yeah, I think in your sign-up form that you're one of the original runners of Kirby Superstar.
I am.
Haven't played it myself, but I do like me some of the other Kirby games. I'm familiar with the adventure on NES, and also the straight up Game Boy one, where you can't absorb abilities.
Yeah, it's a thing.
So, Petetron, again, coming back to Petetron's progress, continues to make it through pretty well here. Getting lots of invis up against Kraken, which is very important, but look at this. We didn't see this. Kraken's got nuclear. We did get our fast off on the fighter, though, and that should really help. Unfortunately, with the turn order that we got, we're going to need maybe 2 or 3 more swings before this fight's going to be over. We better hope that Kraken doesn't have any more of those big skills. Fighter's got some good HP. Choosing to get the Cure 4 off on the fighter, I like this choice. That's going to get you through the fight, and with life, you'll be able to pick everybody back up. even spreading out the Cure 4 a little bit. I might have thrown them both on the fighter just to be sure, but Tetron's choice pays off. Going to do some more Cure 4s, going to take another swing with this newly buffed up fighter, now doing some proper damage with about 500, still going to need another swing or two before we get this fish taken care of, but remembering the HP totals from before shouldn't be that high. A fade drops, 194, Kraken swings back, the Red Mage is able to stay on his feet. I think we're going to get this done, and yes, the fade drops for 194, Kraken goes down and Tetron's through the Tiamat.
Whew, that was scary. That nuclear, we didn't get a chance to see that. So seeing it now, it's a good thing that this party was so healthy going into this, because that really definitely helped getting over that hurdle.
You're absolutely right. The plus 80 HP saving the Red Mage from that last desperate swing from Kraken. So definitely paying off. Tetron playing it a little bit cautious, thinking about playing it cautious, hovers over the defense sword, but then switches over to the power bonk. So we've got a lock 2 coming out. That's 1 temper plus a lock 2. Here's a second temper. Still no sign of fast. There it goes. The fast is off. So at this point, it's a defensive battle. Tetron continuing to put buffs on that fighter. You got to be careful with your temper charges. You're going to need some for chaos. Gonna drop more of them though. Thinking better of it. Switching to locks. I like the switch. A fade's going out. This is going to be a big hard swing from this fighter. We could see this fight go over right now, especially with this extra temper. What kind of damage have we got? Oh, this is coming. This is coming hard. And it's 458. Wow, that's not that high. This is
Defender's
sword.
Defender's sword, not a solid choice for the end game. But it is the best thing he has.
Yeah, quite right, Phoenix. It just doesn't have the same level of guts as those other swords that Sawney has. But there, finally, with all the buffs, another one comes out for 1,000. So Tetron making the right call with all those tempers. I understand now why he was focusing so much on offense.
This KS fight should be cake for him. I think he's gonna be able to get some good. He's got the defense sword. He's got that white shirt. He's going to be able to get some defense up, and then just start power bonking and swinging for the stars.
Yep, I agree 100%. There's going to be no problem getting up to the evade cap. The question is just how long is the fight going to go on for? And not to curse anything, but I don't think we've seen Cure 4 yet from any of the Fiend refights or War Mechs, so that could slow things down, as could the slow 2 spell, but this is just me looking for problems. Tetron, dropping a lock 2, dropping a defense sword, that's 2 stacks of evade right there. Chaos already missing, so this bodes well. We've got a fast and a 3rd stack of evasion, so looking like a real good setup for Tetron. Tetron continues to pile on the tempers, that's the right move, just dump them all and take a big swing, see how much you do. I'm guessing somewhere around 400 with this defense sword. Here we go. 338 with 3 hits. We need more locks. That's going to be a thing that you got to watch out for. Chaos dropping a stop, but it's not going to do too much. Tetron not making the adjustment, continuing to go with tempers, and is going to still struggle with damage output here. Oh, never mind. That's 6 hits for 949. Chaos dropping a blizzard. It's not going to be enough. We've already done at least half of his health pool and damage. Tempers keep going. We're out of tempers. Do we switch to damage? Yes, we do. We've got a fade. Got more tempers. This is going to be an awfully big hit. What have we got? 1024. So Chaos is really close to downed. Trying another stop. That's not going to do too well against those 3 ribbons. The fade comes out. It's 286 and Chaos is down. 1 hour and 47 minutes. Get your GGs out for Tetron.
Wow, that was... That could have gone a totally different direction really quickly. That was pretty good. Considering the gear that he had, that was great.
Yeah, so we've got Tetron hanging out in the setup room, and will be popping up to join us any second. And we are now joined by Tetron. Tetron, GG, how did you feel about that seed?
That seed gave me nothing. The first couple of matches I had, spring tournament matches, it didn't go too bad, and this one I had to fight for every progression item. Like everything was just it was that seed gave me some trouble.
It sure did.
I had to dive ordeals 5 times. That I really could have done without the ambushing seafood party packs with squint or whatever like horrible thing it had.
Yeah, they had squint.
Yeah, I was just about to jump right to that. I mean, the interesting thing was watching you and Sawny for the first 30 or 40 minutes. I mean, you made all the same decisions. So you were both all struggling with the same things for the most part. But you really did have particularly trouble in ordeals, wiping by my count 4 times to that same seafood party pack before deciding to leave. And, for what? There was a tail in there that you ended up going back for later.
No, it was the loot. The tail was in Marsh. Marsh, actually, I found the tail and I got screwed by something on the way out. And I was just like, I don't need to do this again until later. But yeah, because I didn't want to go to ice, I'm like, okay, I guess it's going to be ordeals. It's like usually the next play, except ordeals chewed me up and spit me out. Also, the Medusas had something terrible too.
They had
the Medusas were killing. I was just getting killed left, right, and center. I saw more insta-death spells than I've ever seen in any game ever.
It was definitely rough. You definitely got the worst end of it with the turn order just not favoring you, causing you to have to give up your dive and go back again. What were your thoughts on the gear that you were finding?
So when we were in the game room, waiting for the thing to start, we're like, this fighter's got plus 40 strength. He's gonna be a blender. He's gonna destroy everything. And I find he's punching stuff for the first half hour. All he's doing is punching stuff, and then he's got I got a -3 light axe, and I think I went into Volcano looking for gear, and that was amazing because I got 2 ribbons out of the armory, which is the best thing that happened to me in the entire run. But every single other sword I picked up except the defense sword was -3, -4. It was just garbage swords everywhere. And maybe there was a good sword somewhere, but I certainly didn't see it. And I spent way more time opening boxes than I would have ever wanted to do.
Yeah, about those good swords, Tetron. There was a Mazza +3 and an Excal +5 in Mirage Sky.
I was gonna say that on this end, being able to see what both of you were running into, we noticed that it looked like the game was trying to push you guys into going to early Sky, which if someone had, they would have found on that very first in that first room, I believe, that Excal and Masa, and man, that would have made a huge difference.
That was on the first floor or in Sky, in the Sky Castle.
I'm pretty sure it was in Mirage.
Yeah, because I didn't check
before the cube.
Yeah, I didn't check Sky 1 or 2. I did Sky 3 though, and that didn't have it, so it was in Mirage. I do believe it was Mirage 1 because they were right next to each other.
Yeah, literally, he picked up one thing, turned around, and there's the other one. It's like, oh.
It happens. By the time I got to Sky, I already knew that Sawny had won, so I'm like, whatever. Just gonna wrap this up.
Well, it was good on you for doing so. I mean, 147 in this flag set, still not bad at all, especially given all the troubles you had. I think that was a great run from both of you. I don't have any other relevant questions.
Yeah, so fair enough. I guess what we'll do then is we'll just go around and get final thoughts and wrap this all up. So, Sawneyrath, we'll start with you, our victor on stream today. Any final thoughts before we head on out here?
I mean, I got to start practicing brackets because my ticket's punched, so it's going to be interesting to see. And with with 3 of us being 2-1 in my pod, it's a thing because none of us knew who was going to go 3-0 in this pod, and none of us did. Each one of us lost to the other 2-1. Ale lost to me. I lost to Dang. Dang lost to Ale. Literally rock, paper, scissors there.
Yeah, well, we're seeing this type of rock, paper, scissors setup play out in lots of the pods. Lots of the pods have 2-1 setups, just like you're saying. So it just points to the really fierce competition that is going to be seen in the round of 64. I hope to make it there myself. I'm still at 1-1, so we'll see how I do next week.
You got this. And I do want to finish that out, though, with Petetron. You've played well this tournament. I know you recently came into the community, but definitely hold your head up high because you've played well. You've made it through a very difficult seed with these flags. The seed really had no room for forgiveness, and you just kept pushing through. So keep your head up high, and GG's, dude.
Yeah, thanks. Well, GG's too. Congratulations on your win.
Yeah, we'll roll into final thoughts from you, Petetron.
Sure. Well, I got to be the roadkill in this particular pod, but that's okay. I'm having fun, and my lame excuse is I've been doing FFR development instead. So when you see the ability to import custom sprites directly in FFR, that's what I'm doing instead of practicing. So it's like, oh, could I work on the code or could I practice for spring tournament? So
well, we appreciate your sacrifice for that.
Yes, exactly. that my sacrifice is maybe not. I'm gonna keep working on it. I'm looking forward to seeing how the rest of the tournament plays out and future tournaments, and I think it's great. I'm having fun here.
Great. So we're going to wrap it up. We're going to get the channel handed on back to SpeedGaming. But just before we do, I think Nightmare Phoenix, we've got just enough time for some final thoughts from you before we wrap it up.
Well, this season of spring tournament has been amazing so far, and it continues to be amazing. We're seeing a lot of amazing races, and we are not quite done yet. We got about a week and a half or so left. Still a bunch of races to be had. So go check out our Discord. We have after this tournament, we got the Duckling boot camp starting up again, culminating in a Duckling Derby for all our newer players. And we got these wonderful racers here, so go give them a follow as well. Go check out the things they do. Big thanks to Guardian Marcus for tracking everything, and SpeedGaming for hosting us, and to Rock Solid for letting me ramble on way past the time I needed to ramble on with.
Well, we appreciate the rambling Nightmare Phoenix, my co-commentator Nightmare Phoenix. Is basically saying it all, and I'll just add to that as we wrap up. Want to say thanks to the channel host SpeedGaming for letting us use this time, and again to Guardian Markets for doing the tracking for us. There's too many upcoming races to give the schedule, so just keep it locked right here on SpeedGaming. Also, our other broadcast partners, we have RPG Limit Break and Randomizer, all showcasing matches just about every night, usually starting around 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I believe there's one more coming up at midnight tonight. So if you're jonesing for that, there's still some more action to come. So that's going to do it for us from RockSolid84 and Nightmare Phoenix here at the Final Fantasy Randomizer community. We wanted to thank you for your time. And until next time, everybody, keep your head up. Don't forget to go fast.